I shot him probably 6 times. Shot him in the head. He fell onto the ground.
Imagine the most volatile argument you've ever had. A sudden explosion of rage, a moment where reason collapses under overwhelming emotion. If an act of violence occurs in that instant, the law defines it very differently than a crime planned in cold blood. The legal distinction between murder and manslaughter hinges on a single crucial concept: the heat of passion. The legal term heat of passion describes a situation where a person is provoked into such extreme anger that they temporarily lose control, acting without thought or malice. The time between the provocation and the act is key. Was there a cooling off period? This distinction can change a sentence from life in prison to a few years. In October 2012, this legal line was fiercely debated in the case of 21-year-old Shayna Hubers, charged with the murder of her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Ryan Poston. Hubers claimed the shooting was a desperate act of self-defense after a physical confrontation. The prosecution argued it was a calculated murder disguised by performance. The central question for the jury: was this a spontaneous act of passion, or was it a cold, premeditated execution? For the prosecution, the key to disproving the heat of passion plea was not the initial act itself, but Hubers' behavior immediately after the shooting. Poston was shot 6 times in his condo. Legal science recognizes that genuine, uncontrollable passion usually results in shock, panic, or a breakdown. The defendant's actions contradicted this profile. While waiting for authorities, Hubers was recorded singing, dancing, and talking to herself about trivial matters, almost as if rehearsing a story.
I did. Yes, I did. I can't believe I did that.
She made no immediate attempt to aid Poston or call an ambulance. This detached, almost celebratory behavior was presented as proof of premeditation, a performance designed to cover an act that had already been resolved in her mind. The defense, conversely, did not claim formal dissociative trauma. Instead, they argued her actions could reflect a trauma-related dissociative response, a profound psychological state where the mind disconnects from reality to cope with a sudden, horrific event. In this theory, the singing and dancing were not evidence of planning. They were a distorted, involuntary coping mechanism caused by shock. The question for the jury became whether the emotional volatility exhibited was a momentary loss of control, justifying the manslaughter plea, or an attempt to stage a crime scene, proving the intent required for murder. The evidence of her actions after the shooting was devastating. The first trial in 2015 found Shayna Hubers guilty of murder. While this conviction was later vacated on appeal, a subsequent retrial in 2018 delivered the same verdict. She was again found guilty of murder and sentenced to 40 years in prison.
We, the jury, fixed the defendant, Shayna Hubers' punishment for the offense of murder at life imprisonment.
The Hubers case serves as a crucial legal lesson. It demonstrates that the lack of a cooling off period is not enough to support a crime of passion defense. The defendant's post-crime behavior is increasingly used by prosecutors as a powerful window into the mind state before the act, stripping away the ability to claim chaotic, momentary loss of control. This case challenges our understanding of emotional honesty in the courtroom. It forces us to ask if behavior immediately following a crime can be misinterpreted as planning. What is the criminal justice system truly measuring? When does profound psychological distress end and calculated intent begin?